one more time. We back again. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're here tonight. We had Representative Dr. Harold Love. He is the state representative for Tennessee. Because this traffic is so tremendous, it's so horrific, I think he may just be running a little late. So we're going to go ahead and start the show. But if he comes in, of course, we're going to definitely accommodate him. And if he is listening, take your time, brother. Be safe if you're on that road. And we will wait until you arrive. It is okay. So, yeah, we want to start the show. I got some good responses when my daughter was on the air. When we had that show was called Communication from the Next Generation. So we were just using some of the excerpts and some of the tools and the resources, some of the data that we've gathered over the years, and we used that. And I was just showing how I am part of that in my daughter, and she's now helping people with their relationships because it's an extension to the next generation with that information. We did have our men's meetings. I want you to go to Dennis Graham Facebook. So go to Facebook, Dennis Graham, Clipperdome Chronicles. We have our men's banquet on there. We had a men's meeting. It was huge. We ate really well. We had some good food. Then next we had the new event space. That's also on Facebook, Clipperdome Chronicles, and Dennis Graham. So we want you to go check that out. We also okay, so it's saying, okay, I'm sorry, family. It's saying that the music resume. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's back. I'm sorry about that, family, on Facebook Live. Let's see. It's saying the live ended. Hold on one second, family. So what's happening is when we try to go live on Facebook, the music that plays in the background, we can't start that because that music, we don't own the rights to that. So we have to be careful with trying to start the show with that music in the background. So when I go live, it stops the upload to the video. So it's coming back on. So we're back on live. We're back. So, okay, family, I want to say that again. When we have the music in the background before the show starts, Facebook won't let us go live playing that music because we don't own the rights to it. So I'm sorry about that inconvenience. So we're going to start back at the top with from the show. I shared the first 2 minutes and 39 seconds. So we'll start back over. We had the men's meeting, that banquet. We had some good food. The brothers came out. We had people from several states. We had them in from Kentucky. We had them in from Alabama. So you can go to Facebook, Facebook, Dennis Graham, Clipperdome. That's on Facebook, Dennis Graham, Clipperdome. There you can see the men's meetings. That was our banquet. We had some good food. The brothers came out. We had some good conversation. So that really was the post to let the ladies know that we're coming. They want to know where the brothers are. So we want to bring those healthy, viable options for the ladies. And we also want to thank everybody for watching when my daughter came on. We had a real good time. We want to thank you for your comments. We thank you for reaching out. And we're thanking you for the people who are continuing to watch. We also want to say a special hello to the people on our different sites that we're on, like the meetup groups, the Black Hair Salon and Barbershop Professionals. And we definitely want to reach out to you guys because this is where the information comes from. So we definitely want to say hello to you and thank you for tuning in. And we'll do something special coming up real soon. We want to reach out to you guys and put together a hair show or start some different promotions, something like that. I want to say happy belated birthday to my auntie Leoria. It was her birthday yesterday, and I didn't have an opportunity to be in Detroit to share in her birthday celebration. So I want to say happy birthday, auntie. I love you. Hey Janita, how you doing today? Because what we're doing now is we're waiting on a representative to come. That traffic in Nashville is crazy. So we're gonna open up the phone lines. So if somebody wants to call in, we want to talk about the last show with me and my daughter. If you had an opportunity to hear that, we want you to call in and tell us what you liked, because I think that's going to be something we're going to do on a regular basis. So the number to the show is 615. The number is 227-1470. Again, The number to the show today is 615-227-1470. And we want to specifically talk about anything that you like or anything that you heard that touched you or anything that you wanted to share. You might have a comment, something you may want to add to what we do. But right now, I was in reference specifically to my daughter and I when we were online. We got a lot of good responses from that. She had fun. We had a good time doing that. And it was totally transparent. It wasn't scripted. I was just as shocked as you guys were. I was a little nervous about some of the answers she might give. So I didn't really, I was like you. I was in the dark. I was in the blind. But I really think that show went really, really well. So we're going to try to make that a regular piece. So first, we talked about the promotions, the men's banquet, and then we had the new event space. So that's where we're going to hold all of the forums, all of the banquets, all of the get-togethers. Hey, Jay Poole, what's going on? Hey, Auntie. Hey, Janita, what's up? What's going on? Jay, hey, what's going on? So the lines are open. If you heard the show, if you listened to the show, we want you to call in while we're waiting for the representative, Dr. Harold Love, to come in. We want you to call in and tell us some things that you saw, maybe some things that you heard that you liked. You might have a comment. You may want to add something to the show. So while we're waiting, we want to try to just go back and reflect on some of the things that you may have heard or saw before, or maybe you saw something on the Facebook page that you want to make a comment on. So I want to try to just go back and do some reflection. So while we're waiting on the representative to get in, we want to try to see if we can take some calls. Also, you can reach us at clipperdomeinc@gmail.com. If you want to send us an email, you can reach us on Instagram at Clipperdome Inc. on Instagram. And the phone number, if you want to call us to get involved in any of the promotions, if you have any questions, if you want to find out some more about what we're doing and you want to make a personal call, we also do the personal phone consultations. We do group consultations. We do couples consultations. And you may want to just have a private session. We'll do that as well. That phone number is area code 615. The number is 569-1926. Again, that number is 615-569-1926. Hey, D, what's going on? Yes. Okay, yeah, Janita. That's us. It's happening to us here as well. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's happening up here. The same thing, Janita. I see you, sis, just hanging there with us. It's coming back. So, yeah, we're going to, if you saw something, if you are on Facebook, or if you go to the YouTube page, on YouTube, we have 40 videos there now. So it'll be at least 2 posts every week. So you can go to YouTube, Clipperdome Chronicles, and there are 40 videos there that have different topics, helping us with our relationships, some things from the research and the data that we've gathered up to this point. I want to go into, I thanked a lot of people, and I remember that I can't thank everybody, but I did remember on the Graham side of my family, and it was random that I was, I think we have a caller coming in now.
Okay.
Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
All right, this is CL Murfreesboro.
Oh, yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing well, sir.
What's your comment today?
Well, just want to give you some encouragement, brother. I know that there's a lot of people out there that's still trying to figure you out, and I just want to make sure that you stay to the course, because I know a lot of women are calling in, but a lot of men haven't called in yet. And I'm telling all the men out there, man, you need to get past yourselves, open up to this brother, let him know what's going on, so we can build from this, build from it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that comment, brother. I appreciate it. Right. Yes, sir. That what the brother just said is my biggest problem with promoting the show and the information. A lot of brothers are suffering in silence, and the men's banquet, that forum, I'll post that one as well, and you will see how that works. A lot of times the brothers will come in because they have a lot of weight on their shoulders. They have a lot of things on their minds, and it's really hard to share those things with a group of people that you don't know. So what we have to do is find a way to communicate some of the things, not all of the things that we have going on in our relationships. The last two men's meetings, we were supposed to tape them, and we couldn't tape them because I got two brothers who threatened to take their lives, and so of course that redirected the course of the meeting. So what I also have to do right now, we have to do a disclaimer. I want to do a disclaimer for WVOL at 1470 AM. Anything that's expressed or said by me is on behalf of the Clipperdome Chronicles. It is in no way a reflection on WVOL 1470. Everything that I do and say, any of my promotions, is solely, it belongs to me, the Clipperdome Chronicles. It is not a reflection on WVOL. Hey B, what's going on, big fella? How you doing? Okay, so the brothers that we had at the meeting, at the men's meeting, after we lit the fuse, the spark started flying, and then it ignited and it blew up. So we're going to take that, we're going to put that online, we're going to let you see that. Most of the brothers didn't know each other. We did have several brothers coming in from different states, Alabama and Kentucky, and of course the brothers here in Nashville. Hey D, what's going on? I see you, big fella. Yeah, so we suffering in silence. We have to find a way to get past this suffering in silence piece, because it's affecting our families. Because we have to be the best us we can be before we can help somebody else. And because we may be looked at as the head or the strength of the family, we have to be careful how we deal with our traumas and triggers and dysfunctions, inhibitions and insecurities. So we need to find a way to communicate that, fellas. I don't know the best way to do that. If somebody could call in, they may have some ideas. Maybe you're a counselor. Maybe you're a psychiatrist. Maybe you're a doctor, and you could give us some insight and you can help us on how we can proceed on that side. We do have the experience, which is where the research comes from. But then we also need the theoretical side, which is the education. So you need the practical as well as the theory. And then when you merge those two, that's when you can get down to some core understanding of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So tonight we have Representative Love, and I'm hoping that he's still going to come and be with us because that relationship that he has, he is a pastor. He is the state representative for Tennessee. So that relationship that he has with the community, and then he has his personal life, that he's a pastor and he's a father. So we wanted him to come on and share another side that wasn't just like an intimate relationship, just a relationship with the public. Because at the core, they're all the same. They're all important. They're all needed, and we have to understand them from different perspectives. So if anybody wanted to call in, we'll give you the number again. Maybe you heard something before. You can reach us at 615. The number is 569-1926. Yes. So yeah, it cut out again, good people. So just stay with me. It'll come back. It did do it a couple of times. So I want to go back to my family. My family. I did talk about my family on the Solomon side. That's my mom's side. So I want to talk about the influences and the impacts that some of the people on my Graham side has had. And I want to try to go from the top and go down to the bottom, because a lot of these things you don't know that I think this or this has impacted me the way that it did. From my grandmother and grandfather, knowing that they were staples of the family, the patriarch and the matriarch, being the head, being those figures of strength, being that wisdom, raising my aunts and uncles and my fathers, and then they passed that down to us. Then we'll move down to my dad, is the oldest on the Graham side. My father went off to the military. Of course, when you're the oldest, you pretty much are like a surrogate father, if you will, to your brothers and sisters. So my father, when he went off to the war, he came back and life was a little bit different for him. So he went through some things, and still to this day, he's trying to make some adjustments. And I told you, like in the, I think it was the first time we were live on the air, I was telling you how my dad showed me discipline and respect. I want to move to my Aunt Leoria. It's her birthday today. And we did shout her out. We said happy birthday, happy belated auntie. I'm sorry I wasn't there to share that with you. She was always available, just like my Aunt Sharon on my mother's side. This is my father's side. When I knew she should have said no, she never did. She always accepted us with open arms. It was never a time when I knew, now thinking back on it, she had 5 kids. So when you raising 5 children, it's going to come a day when you're a single parent that you don't have it. And you still, because you have so much love and compassion for your family, and she is a caregiver, she took us in and she fed us. And we did that often. And I know that by her going through nursing school back then, it was really hard for her to go to school and raise 5 children and take 2 more, my brother and myself. So I thank you, Auntie, for that. We love and respect you for that. We want to move down to my Uncle John. My Uncle John, he was a mechanic. And I remember taking my cars over to the house, and I didn't, know a lot about cars, to the degree where I could fix a lot of things. I could do the small things like a belt or the alternator, something small like that. But I remember him laying in the snow, fixing my car when he got off work, and I know he didn't want to do it. But now being an uncle myself, those are the sacrifices that we make when, we dealing with our family. And he showed me that you got to keep going no matter what. You just have to keep pushing. No matter what's going on, you got to keep pushing. So I thank my Uncle John for that. I want to move to my Aunt Teresa and my Uncle Leonard. They both passed away very, very early, some untimely deaths, and we missed them. And I do remember my Aunt Teresa, but I don't remember my Uncle Leonard. He passed before I was born. I want to go from them. We want to go down to my Uncle Robert. My Uncle Bobby is a character. He is hilarious. He should have been a comedian. I do not know why he never got on stage. I have no idea. He is hilarious. He taught me how to laugh. He taught me how to be silly. He taught me how to live life. He taught me how to not take it so seriously. And he has a very wise word. He doesn't really say a lot all the time, but when he does, it's very impactful. So I had a lot of opportunities and days when we sat down together and just, share life. He just shared life with me. And, he always kept it straight. He just asked questions. He never told me what to do. He just asked the right questions, and he let me make my own decisions. Then we want to go down to my Aunt my Aunt Sandy. My Aunt Sandy, always good people, just always had a bright spirit like that star, shining in the night, She just always in good spirits. Her, my Uncle Roy, they've been married for about 500 years, I think. I think it's 500. No, I think it's 37 years now, I think they've been married. And, the consummate couple, if you want to, pattern yourself after something, the way they care for each other and reciprocate that love and that communication. They had a house where we all get together on the holidays. We pretty much get together over their house. They open it up and show that love to the family. So, they just taught me love and how to take care of the family. And you got to step up and do your part. And sometimes it's hard. But then when they lean on you, you have to be that rock. So, now down to my cousins. My cousin Lynn, she always was a hard worker. Her and her husband, they've been married for, Lynn, I think it's 21 or 2. I'm not sure. Yeah, but she's been married for a long time, and her husband work together. You go through your trials and tribulations like everybody else, but they keep it tight and they keep it together. So it's always a good thing, to see that unity. They working hard, raising their children, and just standing there and making it do what it do. I think we have the representative coming in. I'm pretty sure. Here he is. Okay, brother, how you doing? You can go. No, you go right there. We set you up right here. You go ahead. So right now we are live. So you have a seat right here, and I got this one. So when that's going to come back on. I'll leave that right there. So they can see you.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to be you right there. Right there. Okay. So we'll let you get settled. We'll let that come back on. See where we are, and we can go from there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so we have Representative Love just came in, and we want to thank him with his busy schedule because we know he had a ton of things to do. So we are just excited that he is here, and I know that traffic was something else. So, brother, I'm glad you're here. How's the day? How's it going?
Traffic and GPS. My apologies. I went the other way.
Okay.
Though I know where the view is. So
Okay.
glad to be here.
There you go. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll make sure we get the representative in there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. There you go. So, and we have that camera in this one, so you don't really have to focus on me so much.
Thank you.
Because you want to go ahead and look into the camera. So, okay, we're glad you're here.
Yes, sir.
Glad you got settled. I thank you so much for coming in because we put this out here.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. A lot of people they were excited about you coming in. So I was trying to get some questions prepared,
Okay.
and I just wanted to, because when I spoke to Mr. Jenkins, I was trying to figure out how to do it, and he said you wanted to be candid.
Sure.
He said you don't like it to be scripted. So
Yeah.
I know what kind of brother you are. I met you several times, so we'll just get into it. Where did you grow up?
Well, so for me, the issue of being born in North Nashville is important because I was born on Buchanan Street,
Okay.
North Nashville, 37208.
All right.
And went to elementary school at John Early. Then transitioned to actually be bused out to Ashland City Highway to Wade Elementary. Then went to Cumberland. Then went to school in East Nashville. Then eventually White Street.
Okay.
So I've been to about 5 different schools here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay.
But my father grew up on Scoville Street, and thought it was important my sisters and myself, 4 sisters I have, went to school in North Nashville, ingrained in the epicenter of North Nashville, understand the importance of public school education.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it started off for me.
Okay. All right. So now, we have, I heard you mention your dad.
Yeah.
So we want to definitely put that on the table because I have a question for that.
Sure.
I think you know we were going to go with that one. Okay, so where did you go to college?
Oh,
The undergrad degree.
Tennessee State University.
Yes, sir.
Was blessed to march in the band there at TSU, and my father made a statement to me and my sisters early on in our high school careers that we could go anywhere else we want to in the United States of America. But he and my mother only paying for TSU.
Oh, understood.
So it's okay, go there or pay. My mother was working there for about 57 years as of 2014. There's a program called Upper Bound, a pre-college program designed to encourage first generation and low-income students to go to college. And she was there for 47 years as a Upper Bound director and 10 years as a mathematics professor. So a total of 57 years there at TSU. And my father said, listen, TSU started him there in 1935. And so it was important for us to be at HBCU and to graduate.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so then, where did you do your graduate degree? Where did you get your graduate degree?
The first degree was at Vanderbilt University, Master in Theological Studies at Vanderbilt, and then a PhD in 2017 at TSU in Public Administration and Public Policy.
Okay.
So the issue is this. One of the challenges we have is that most schools have issues hiring African American professors with PhDs because they can't find them. And there's a program in Atlanta called the Southern Regional Education Board, SREB, which provides scholarships for students to go to school to get your PhD.
Mm-hmm.
And I pursued the PhD there and got it in 2017
Okay.
in public policy, because when you talk about policy formulation and public administration, there are not many African Americans in that sphere. You have African Americans in biology, chemistry, mathematics, but public policy is one sphere that we don't often focus on.
No.
Yeah.
You don't. Not
But as I tell folks all the time, doctors treat those who have illnesses and come to them. Lawyers help those who have legal issues, right?
That's right.
But elected officials and politicians affect everybody's life.
That's right.
For example, in order to be born in this country and recognized as being born, you must have a birth certificate.
That's right.
And to be recognized, but folks don't see it like that, be recognized as being dead, you must have a death certificate, right?
That's right.
So, birth certificate, death certificate, right?
That's right.
Issued by what?
The state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So government brackets your life from birth to death,
Conception to completion. Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So when folks say, well, I don't want to be involved in government because I'm not excited. Well, listen, the piece is government is involved in your life from
Right.
beginning to end,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, sir.
So, we must vote, and more importantly, in the next year, the 2020 census, we must be involved. We must record ourselves to be here.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so you got we did your undergrad. Where
Right.
you from?
Yeah.
We got your undergrad. We got your grad. Now you also a pastor and you
Yeah.
have a church. Go into that a little bit. And let the people know what you have going on.
Well, in about 1994, I received my call to ministry, and the way that the AME Church recognizes that is you must go through a board of examiners. And oftentimes, that pursuit is not it's not pleasant, but you must be, once you get ordained an elder, after being ordained deacon, you must go to a church that oftentimes is not where you were living or born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So for me, when I got ordained in 1999, my first pastoral assignment was in Hopewell, Columbia, Tennessee.
Okay.
I tell folks it was about 37 miles from the Alabama border because the exit was 37. Drove down there from 1999 2002, was there, and then from 2003 to 2016 at St. Paul AME Church on West Hamilton in border area, and then from 2016 to present Lee Chapel AME Church in North Nashville.
So okay, so going down there, so they send you to a position where you're going to be uncomfortable. Then that's by design. Did you think that worked for you?
Well, the concern oftentimes is called itinerant,
Okay.
which means that you get a 1-year assignment. And every preacher in the AME Church knows that you get a 1-year assignment on your sheet of paper, which says you've been assigned to this church for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
The hope is that in that 1 year you will, save souls. You will conduct Bible study. You will increase the budget of that church. But it's not a 20-year assignment. It's not a 5-year or 10-year. It's a 1-year assignment. So I was assigned for 1 year to Hopewell AME Church, and then I had a chance to come back the next year, and the next year, and coming from Lee Chapel, it was different. So, for instance, Lee Chapel in 1999 had 3 choirs. It had about 4 folks on staff in ministry. It had a nice structure. It had a full-on, what you might deem as traditional church structure, right?
Okay.
So imagine me coming from Lee Chapel, right? Having a master's degree from Vanderbilt and school loans, right?
Yeah.
Going to Hopewell AME Church, and it's about 50 members on roll, but 25 in everyday Sunday
There you go.
attendance,
There you go.
right?
Right.
So it was a transition. Just to give the numbers, I mean, we were at Lee Chapel were raising maybe $500,000 a year. Hopewell, 30,000.
Okay.
Right?
Slight difference.
Fast.
Yeah.
Fast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We didn't have 3 choirs. We didn't have a minister of music. So for me, it was an opportunity to invest in the people there. Stayed there 3 years, and had a wonderful opportunity to get to know the folks there. But then after 2002, got transferred to St. Paul AME in West Hamilton. Now, I will say this, that one of the most game-changing moments at Hopewell, St. Paul, was the fact that in 2010, when I was there, we had the floods in Nashville.
Yeah, I remember.
Right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So right down on West Hamilton, St. Paul is on the hill, but the houses in the valley are being flooded. So one must ask the question, what's the church's role? What should we do? Do we protect our own? Or do we reach out to those who are not members and help them? And I must give deference to Reverend Omarion Lee, who called me on that Saturday and said, listen, Reverend, let's set up a small barbecue cookout facility for the folks who are working down there,
That's right.
helping clean out and help them out. No one knew the devastation down in West Hamilton or Bordeaux or Bellevue. And we started that, and it became a satellite location for flood relief. Now, keep in mind, it's 2010, and Red Cross wasn't here on the first few days, right? FEMA wasn't here the first few days. But oftentimes the black community is, you get left out of the government resources
Absolutely.
the first few days.
Absolutely.
So for us, the issue was, help our folks. And then we found was Red Cross called and said, hey, let us help you all augment your services. And that was one of the most, the best example of how we service the community in 2010.
Okay. All right. So we're trying to build this picture for people who don't know you. So we want to introduce you to some and then reacquaint you with some others that already know you. So, and then you're also a husband. You are a married man. So we're just trying to build this picture.
Yeah.
I think that is Miss Leah Dupree.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and speak a little bit about the Queen.
So we met at work, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I was a state rep, newly elected, and she was a liaison for the Department of Human Services, General Services at the state of Tennessee. And in 2012, there were about 5 liaisons. Every department has a liaison. Mm-hmm. Human Services, General Services, Finance Administration, Safety, Transportation. They all have liaisons who their job is to contact and make sure that legislators aren't running bills that are detrimental to the state government.
Okay, right.
2012, 13, there were probably about 6 African Americans in the whole departments.
Oh, accumulative.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, Finance Administration, TDOT, DHS, DCS. There were more than 15 departments, but only about 5 that were black liaisons. So she and I met, and I tell folks jokingly, we met because she had a bill that I was working on that the governor didn't like.
Okay.
And so my task was to get her not to kill the bill.
I see where this is going. All
right. So I said, hey, let's have dinner first. Let's work this out because my bill is good. And then, of course, over the years, we developed a friendship, and I actually had to get permission from the Attorney General to date because they've been in conflict.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
And got married this past May, and been happy about it. It's unusual to find someone who understands what your day-to-day role is in government.
It's huge.
Yeah. It's supportive, and to understand the challenges you face. I mean, let's be honest. Look at Tennessee. You got the divisions of East, Middle, and West, right?
That's right.
You have the major cities of Knoxville, Chattanooga, Nashville, and Memphis, and Jackson. But the demographics will display that most of the African American elected officials on the state level are in Memphis, in Nashville. We have one in Knoxville, one in Chattanooga, one in Jackson, right? We got 3 in Nashville and a multitude in Memphis. And so with that challenge, the question is asked is, how do you propose legislation, get it done in that desert,
Right.
right? You know,
want to talk on the radio?
if one was to look at the old
Okay, you want to go on the radio
ABC cartoon of I'm just a
now?
bill,
Put you in
right?
the air and let you talk, if you want to talk.
I'm just a bill trying to get on Capitol
That's
Hill,
right.
right?
I remember that.
It talks about the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, and the bill's trying to get passed. So in Tennessee,
Okay.
you have, you know, a small number of African Americans and a small number of African American males working in the legislative branch. And, you know, for her and I to get together and work together was a wonderful thing.
Okay, so now we have now you when you talk about her, and I want to say First Lady. Let me be
League of Love.
Okay, Leah
Love.
Love is okay. Leah
Yeah.
Love is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Leah Love. When you talking about her and the way she engages and supports you,
Yeah.
and how do you balance that schedule? Being a representative, being a husband, being a pastor. Because I like if you come in here the way you came today, I'm just appreciating you
Right.
being here, no
Right.
matter how you get here. So
Sure.
how do you balance? What's the strategy?
Funny story. It was about 2017. I'm actually going to Governor Haslam to talk about some legislation, right?
All right.
At that time, Leah and I were not married. We were dating. And you know, we had to get permission from the AG, the Attorney General,
That's right.
to date.
Right. Right.
I mean, because they had to make sure there's no conflict between her role and my role. I talked to Governor Haslam, and we talked about bills. And at that point in time, we become pretty good friends. And he stopped and said, "Listen, man," he said, "how do you do it?" He said, "How do you balance, you know, this job, the legislature, and the church?" I told him, I said, "Listen, in 2012, when I first got elected, and I had 50 members, it was much easier.
That's right.
But
That's right.
in 2016, when my bishop, Bishop Jeffrey and then Nathaniel Leith, assigned me to lead chapel with 313 members, it's a huge leap between 50 and 313. Right, because you have a multitude of problems,
That's right.
just issues.
That's right.
But I said to him, I said, I make sure that I remember that my first calling was not to be elected.
That's right.
My first calling was to the church. And so I must make sure that my efforts down here don't contradict what I'm doing at the church. So I made sure that I, you know, if it was a member going in for surgery, that I made sure that I was there, even if it meant that I missed the committee meeting. And to the point, I had a member die last year. Sister Nell Green Smith. And the funeral was going to be in Lynchburg, Tennessee, where she was from. I had committee meetings that day, and I called my caucus chair and I said, "Listen, I have to be out of place. I had to go eulogize my member, my church." So the point was that I had to leave Nashville at about 9 o'clock to drive to Lynchburg for the funeral and then drive back, which meant my whole day was gone.
That's right.
And I actually had a bill up that day in the committee.
Oh yeah. On the
Yeah.
phone.
In the committee prior to going to the floor. So I had to call the chairs, listen, roll my bill to next week. I can't be in 2 places at one time, and my pastoral appointment is more important to me than this elected position. At this point, because you can always roll a bill, but you can't always eulogize somebody the next day.
No, that's right. That's right.
And so my focus was always on saying, listen, my my church calling obligation has to come first.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the job. The putting the bill on the floor. That's the job. But the calling.
The bill can also be rolled.
That's right. You can do that.
You can get someone else to carry it. And as a matter of fact, the bill that was up that day was a very important bill. It was called the Dignity for Women Act, which provided for hygiene products for women in prison for free. The bill was based upon a bill that was carried in Louisiana, and it was called the Dignity for Women Act. And the piece is this: in prison, women have to pay for the hygiene products.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Soap, toothpaste, and tampons. And most folks don't realize that in Tennessee they had to be paid for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you knew that.
No, oh yeah, oh I knew it.
Right.
And men too.
Well,
Right.
Oh yeah, on both sides.
But men are paying for tampons.
Right. No. Right. I mean, just
Right,
their
right.
personals. Yeah, the personals.
look, we're doing a
So
talk show live
this
right now.
bill was up that day. There was a press conference that day,
All right.
and I
Bye-bye.
couldn't be there. It's a very important bill because, for me, when we're talking about women and being able to have their value and worth, dignity, right, expressed through not having to pay for tampons and pads, was important. But I had to be someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's the priorities. One has to be less important. Not that it's not important, but they can't weigh the same because you can only be, like you said, in one place at one time.
Well, it's about balance.
That's right. There you
So
go.
for me,
What was the defining moment when you knew? What made you say, "I'm going into politics"? What was it? 'Cause I know it's a lot, but it's the biggest event or the one thing that stands out in your mind.
Well, I think there must be deference given to my father, who was a city councilman here in the old city council in Nashville, and was a councilman in the newly enacted Metro Government Council. Him, Luby, and Lillard, right, with the first 3 black Americans in the council.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go back, keep in mind, Metro Nashville government is not that old.
Give us a date.
62.
Oh wow. Okay.
You had Nashville and Davidson County separate prior to that. Like you have Memphis and Shelby County, separate governments, right? So 1962, they consolidated the governments to make Metro Nashville
Okay,
Davidson County,
There you go.
right?
That's right.
So prior to that, Ben West was the mayor of Nashville, right? And Beverly Bradley was the authority in Davidson County. But when they merged governments in 1962, they combined Metro Nashville Davidson County. So my father, Lillard, and Luby were the 3 black councilmen in Nashville city government. And then the year after, in '62, they were the first 3 black councilmen in the Metro Nashville Davidson County city government. For me, the issue was my father served from '62 to '70 in the Metro Council, and from '68 to '71, to '94 in the state representative position. It was seeing him go to work every day.
Yeah.
Right? You must understand this, as our listeners will hear, to their shock. There was a time before the internet.
Yes, sir. There was.
Right?
Yes.
There was a time before Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. And my father brought me to his office every day after school from 1978, middle school, until 1990 when I was in high school. So imagine going to work every day with your father after school. Do you recall, Brother Graham, the computer called Apple?
Absolutely.
You know when it came out?
74, 5.
But there wasn't one in every office.
Absolutely not.
Well, Microsoft.
80s, early 80s.
But they weren't in every office, right?
Right.
So the child in my father's office was a typewriter.
Oh yeah, I remember the PEC. I remember.
You recall Viacom?
I do.
There was no cable downtown. There was no TV. So for me, as a child, what was my task?
In his office or
In his office.
watch him work.
Come to the office, do your homework, and then go where? Committee room. So ingrained in me was this ethos of public service.
There you go.
I literally watched my father every day go from his office to the committee, do the work, right? And then go from his office to the neighborhood to tell them what he had done that day. So for middle school, I watched my father every day go to work, come to the community in North Nashville, and say, this is what I've done. So for me, to answer your question, it was about 1993 in college when I got this bug of running for office. And that's my father said, listen, how do you know when you should run for office? He said, well, go get a job.
And that's when you went up.
He said, get a job. I don't want you to run for office.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was okay.
He said, because I don't want you to be someone in office who knew nothing other than being in office. Go to work. Get a job. Do your trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the people call you, then you run for office. So, the most folks don't know this. My father died in 96. I ran for office in 98 and lost.
Mm-hmm.
I ran 2000 and lost. 2007 and lost by 17 votes. So 2008, I'm trying to figure out, is this for me? I mean, you know, Harold loves.
Coming from and what he's trying to do. We want to give it, just so you won't see him on TV or just read about him in the magazine. We want him to come on the air so you can touch, taste, and feel the spirit of the man. So we're going to wrap this show up. We want you to take this. We want you to test this. We want you to try this. We want you to take it to the barbershop or take it to the hair salon. Take it to the job or take it to the church. Remember, you don't have to like it, believe it, or understand it. Sometimes you just have to respect it. This is the Clipperdome Chronicles. Thank you.